Ram, can you hear me?
Sai,
Can you hear me?
yeah, this is
Yes.
perfect. We can hear. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry. There was some problem with the laptop. I had to restart. My Swami's grace is working now. So sorry for that.
It's totally all right. Yeah. So we'll give one more minute and then we'll start the session if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I'm ready.
While we're waiting, we request all our participants to switch on their cameras and to mute yourself, please. And thank you for joining. So let's wait for one more minute and then we can start the session. Sister Puri, over to you, please.
ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्. Loving Sairam to everyone. A warm welcome to all of you attending today's session of Sai Insights Take 4 on the topic Sandeha Nivarini, dispelling darkness through divine wisdom with Brother Bishu. We appreciate everybody for your presence today and thank you for taking the time to join us. Now I call upon Sister Triveni to introduce our esteemed guest speaker for today's session. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It is an absolute honor to be able to introduce our speaker today. We have with us Brother Bishu, who hails from the state of Odisha in India. He did his high school in Sri Sathya Sai Higher Secondary School Education in Prashanthi Nilayam, and later he did his bachelor's in commerce and master's in business in the administration degrees from the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. Immediately after his post-graduation, Bhagavan sent him to a software firm for training in hospital information systems. He was the first student selected by Swami for serving at the super specialty hospital in Whitefield, Bangalore. He was part of the team that set up the IT infrastructure, the management systems and processes, and training modules in our hospital. Swami later directed him to join the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center, where he worked for more than 18 years. He is now a writer and editor, and he is part of the team that manages the content and the multimedia productions that I'm sure all of you have seen across YouTube and everywhere else on the Sri Sathya Sai Media Center. He's also the author of the book Moments of the Truth with Sathya Sai. This book, by his grace, became a national superseller for the publisher in the first month of its release in January 2019. And I'm sure, of course, most of you do know him as the singer and member of the Prashanthi Mandir Bhajan group. So I'm going to now pass it on to our guest speaker. Whilst he delivers this talk through Sandeha Nivarini, we are assuming that many of you have questions as well. So after this, we'll be able to have a Q&A session. If we don't have time afterwards, we'll be able to submit, hopefully, these questions to Brother, and then we'll be able to get back to you with the responses. So whilst I pass in a moment, I would encourage you all to have your videos on so that we aren't just all talking to a blank screen and we can see everybody. But do keep your microphones on mute. so that we aren't disturbing. But I'll hand it over to Brother Bishu. Jai Saram.
Sairam. Greetings from Prashanthi Nilayam, and so happy to connect with all of you as Prashanthi gears up for the Atirudra Mahayagnam and Shivratri celebrations. There's plenty happening now, and there are looking like everybody wants to be here for the Atirudra Mahayagna. And of course, this year is filled with so many very profound events. So, really, so happy to be connecting with you all from the abode of Supreme Peace. अंतर ज्योत जलाओ साई ब्रह्म सनातनी दया करो हे पूर्ण ज्योतिर्मयी शिव शक्ति मई कृपा करो दीन दयामयी पतित पावनी साई जग जननी कृपा करो साई जग जननी कृपा करो. Sandhya Nivarini is all about dispelling our doubts and ensuring that that light of wisdom glows within, grows steadily, and illumines our being and also everything around us. And just few days ago, when in the morning bhajans we were singing this bhajan, I just felt that it was so appropriate. Mine goes back to the 90s. So there were two brothers who were serving Bhagwan. Swami in those days was staying in the Purnachandra auditorium. And these brothers had the opportunity to physically serve Bhagwan. And one evening, when they were sitting inside, and this brother was offering Padaseva, he was massaging Bhagwan's feet, and Swami was just seeing the letters next to his chair on the table. There would be all these letters that he would have collected or the devotees would have sent. And as Swami was leafing through the letters, Swami just looked at this boy and asked, "You want to ask anything? Feel free to express whatever is bothering you." Just like in this Sandeha Nivarini, Swami is telling this bhakta, "What is bothering you? Tell me." And so this brother says, "Swami, this duty that you have given me of serving you fills me with so much of joy, but also there are moments of deep sadness, because one of the roles that we play is of being a messenger. So what used to happen is, in the evenings, many devotees who wanted to communicate something to Bhagwan, especially the staff and students and devotees uh, who have the access to give letters to Bhagwan. So they would go to the Purnachandra auditorium, and this brother would find out who is it that has come, with a letter for Bhagwan. And then he would go to Swami and he would seek his permission if he can take that letter, he can accept that letter and bring it to Bhagwan. And most often than not, Swami would Swami would give him the permission to bring the letter. And if that happened, then this brother is very happy. So he would receive the letter and say, Swami is very pleased to accept your prayer, and he will offer it to Bhagwan. But there are also times when Swami would not give him permission to accept that letter. And in those moments, it would become very difficult, very tricky for him to face that person. Many times, these people, you have worked with these people, they are probably your colleagues or your staff, people who you have known for years living in the ashram. And how do you go and tell them that, Swami is not willing to accept your letter? How do you communicate? Because when someone is coming with a prayer for Bhagwan, especially taking that exceptional route of going to Bhagwan's residence and offering a letter, it's like somebody is really in a difficult situation. And it is because of that severe predicament that as a last resort they have come to Bhagwan. And here you are unable to help them. So many times, he would do that job with a lot of sorrow in his heart. And of course, you're always crestfallen to see that the person returned very disappointed. And then you think, am I responsible for this? Did I not do a good job of communicating his prayer to Bhagwan well? Did I not present his case well? Or is there anything that I could have done so that this person would have returned happier, especially in a time when he is going through so much of pain? So he asked Swami, Swami, how do I deal with such situations without succumbing to sadness and doubt and many times deep sorrow? And Swami says, when any person comes with a letter, do you think that person's interaction with me or his connection with me is limited to that specific instance? That person's relationship with me transcends those few moments of interaction that you witness. When the letter is written itself, I am there. Why I accept a letter and why I do not accept a letter has so many reasons. If I accept a letter, it could be because of the purity of their prayer, the determination, their past karma. And if I don't, again, it is because of what I want to convey to that person, because I know him through and through. You are looking at this particular situation only from this one moment, but I am looking at the complete picture. All the same, when you have to communicate what has to be communicated to this devotee, how you do it will decide your karma. Whether I accept the letter or don't accept the letter depends on that person's karma. But how you do your role of communication, that depends, and that will decide your karma. And how that person receives what has been communicated to him will decide his karma. If that person questions, if that person complains, if that person feels, why does Swami do this to me? I'm going through so much pain. I have so many problems. And how can Swami be so stone hearted? How could he, at this point of time, turn his face away from me? I have done so much. I've been coming to Prashanthi Nilayam for so many years. I've been serving in the university for 25 years. And Swami did not have even this much compassion for me. He can think anything. Does he really know what I'm going through? Oh, he will accept letters from those who are big donors. He will accept letters from those, oh, that guy that student has some talent, so he will accept letters from that fellow, or that person's father is a big man, so he will accept the prayers of that person. He can have so many thoughts. How he accepts what is given to him will depend and decide his karma. If he questions and he cannot accept the denial in the right manner, then he will be moving farther from me. But if he accepts what is given, thinking that Swami knows best, whatever he does, it is for my good. The very fact that I came here and he heard my name, that itself is a blessing, which means he knows. Yes, he did not accept. There is definitely a good reason, and it is definitely good for me. If he accepts it with this kind of a feeling, without doubts, without questions, unquestioningly, obeying, understanding, and not allowing his faith to waver because his desire did not get fulfilled, such devotees will come closer to me, Swami said. At the same time, if I accept the letter, and because I accepted the letter, if he gets egoistic and if he feels, oh, I am someone, Swami loves me, I've done so much seva, and he allows his ego to grow, again he will be doing disservice to himself. If you take the situation in the right manner, then you have a larger vessel to collect my grace, Swami says. But if you think anything negative, then you are making your vessel smaller to collect my grace. And in the chapter 1 of Sandeha Nivarini, this is what Swami says. If you allow your desires, the fulfillment or the non-fulfillment of your desires to come in the way of your faith, because your desires for success, desires are for external pursuits. Faith in the Lord diminishes when one's desire for success in external pursuits is not fulfilled. This is what generally happens. Because Swami did not accept my letter, because after doing all of this, my son did not get admission, because in spite of all of my praying and serving and everything, my daughter still is going through so many troubles. If you allow any of the worldly concerns to affect your faith in the Lord, then you are moving away from the Lord. Swami says, once you relinquish your desires and aspire only for Atmic connection, then you will never be put to hurts and insults. So the best thing is to be able to distinguish and detach our desires, our prayers from our connect and our faith in the divine. If there is any desire that we should have, it should always be the desire to only think of Him, to become closer to Him, to one day become one with Him. That should be the only desire. If you have any other desires, fine, you can have those desires, but let those desires not come in the way of your faith. There was this devotee, Radha, who served Swami way back in the 1940s. And she was the sister of Kannamma, the author of Sri Sathya Sai Anandadayi book. And in those days, she had the opportunity to serve Bhagwan. So every day in the night, she would offer Bhagwan warm milk, and Swami would always accept from her. And one day, in fact, Swami said, Radhama, I am bound to you. I will do whatever you say. And that is the kind of relationship and love that Swami showered, and that is the connect this dear devotee had with Bhagwan. Even though she was married for 12 years, she did not have a child. And that particular year, after she returned from Bhagwan's presence, she conceived. And unfortunately, the baby that was born had no life. It was stillborn. And imagine in the 40s, all these people started saying, what are you doing with your life? You're going to this Baba. You served him for so many days and weeks and months. Every time you get an opportunity, you go there. And now what he has done to you, what is happening to your life? This is not good for you. How can you still go to Puttaparthi? You should stop doing, remove his photograph from your house. It'll only bring more bad luck. And after this incident, the next month, Radhama's mother goes to Prashanthi Nilayam. And the moment Swami sees her, Swami says, even after this incident, you have come for my darshan? Even after this, you have come? And then Swami said, Radhamma has a very strong mind. That is how she could bear this sorrow. And Radhama's mother said, Swami, why are you asking that? Why are you saying that even after this you have come for my darshan? Swami, how is that related to we coming to see you? How is that related to we longing to be with you? Whatever we go through in life, Swami, that is our karma. Yeah, if she's going through that, that is her karma. How can you say that? How can you even think that we will not come for your darshan? And Swami was so moved. Swami said, she will have another child. This should not have happened, but I'm assuring you, she will have another child, and a very beautiful one. No matter what, maybe our desires, disappointments, if they don't come in the way of our faith, and if they only serve to strengthen our faith, fortify our faith, then Swami says, you will not go through these hurts and insults in your life. You will rise above them. You will be in a state where you will experience proximity and grace of the divine. In fact, Bhagwan once says to Kanamma, the reason that you are having this unwavering faith, it is because of your good deeds that you have done in previous births. All those people whose minds stick to me like blotting paper as soon as they see me, they are my real devotees. He wants that our mind should stick to him like blotting paper. And that happens only when, as I said, FAITH, forsaking all, I trust him. Period. We can have desires. Nobody is without desires. But God is impressed by those devotees who undergo difficulties without complaining. He loves those who come to him with single-minded devotion. In chapter 7 also, Bhagwan again refers to this aspect of our wishes and our aspirations not coming in the way of our faith. Even if we have desires, if we learn to direct it towards the divine, then beautiful opportunities emerge. The same desires become boon for us. There was this brother who joined here for his management after his engineering. And the way he joined here was interesting. He had not much idea about Swami. Somebody had just told him. And while he was doing his engineering in Mumbai, like everyone else, he had dreamt of going abroad, going to the US. He wanted a good standard of life, like all his friends always talked about going abroad, about having that good life with all the comforts and conveniences that money can buy, and to really look successful in the eyes of the world. That's what he had always thought, and that is what his dream was. But suddenly he came to know of Swami. So somebody said, you can go to Puttaparthi and you can do even seva, and he was free. So he came to Prashanthi Nilayam. And it so happened that Bhagwan came to him one day during darshan, and Swami said, if you want, you can do MBA. You can do MBA if you want. So that darshana Bhagwan actually had a lot of impact on him. And he thought of doing MBA in Swami's university, and he got the chance. He became the student. And once he became student, whole perspective changed. And now he did not want to go anywhere. He wanted to serve Swami. He wanted to stay back after his education. And but Swami insisted, no, no, no. Swami called his parents, and Swami said, no, he has to go abroad. And he was saying, no, Swami, I want to serve here. I want to serve here. Swami said, no, no, no. And Swami actually sent him to Indonesia. And he was serving there. And after serving there for 3, 4 years, one day when he came to Prashanthi for darshan, and Swami asked, how is your work? And he said, Swami, I am there, but my heart is here, Swami. I want to come back, Swami. I want to be here. I want to serve you. And then Swami said, but I did not send you outside. You only wanted to go. So you went. And this boy was like, what? Swami, of course, you can't tell that to Swami. You only sent, you only arranged the employer. You only told that VIP to give me a job. You only did everything. I didn't want to go. How can you say now that I wanted to go? And Swami said, no, no, I didn't want to send you. You only wanted to go, so you went. And this set him thinking. Of course, he prayed to Swami, and then Swami allowed him to come back after 4 years of serving there. And then he worked in the Central Trust for nearly another 17 years. But when I met him recently and he was reflecting on this episode, he said, only later I realized that there was that desire, that I want to go out. And while he was in Indonesia, he did go to US on work. So because that desire was there, Swami reflected that. And Swami said, it's not me. You went there because you only wanted to go. I was only clearing off that desire. And after being there, everything, he had no more, whatever was that deep seated also, everything vanished. He was just waiting to come back. And while he was there, since his mind was completely focused on Swami, Swami allowed him to come back. And interestingly, when he came back with skills of working in that company, which were very useful later on as he joined the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust. So even if we have desires, if those desires are directed towards the divine, that is when doubts will not torment us, faith will strengthen, and we will become closer. This darkness of losing connect with Swami will not happen. And Swami very clearly says in this chapter 1, don't go after this person or that person as guru. Very difficult in today's times to find the genuine guru. Categorically, Swami says that who are our guru? If you need guides, you have the scriptures. And for us, we have Swami's own writings. We have Swami's own discourses. They are our scriptures. And we have him to guide. In fact, Swami says in this first chapter that the guru will appear to you at the right time. Sadguru will himself become your guru if your sadhana is sincere. He will give you the fruit of your sadhana. He will himself come and give you the fruit of your sadhana. There is that story of Swami Amritananda, who had the darshan of Bhagwan as Shiva. And in that interview, Swami gives him the darshan of Swami as Golden Ganapati. And those of you who know the story, it is about how more than uh, 60 years ago, perhaps, he was a little boy, and he had done a sadhana, an austerity. And at the completion of that austerity, he was supposed to get a vision of golden Ganapati, but he had never got. And Swami that day, after so many decades, gives him that darshan and says, Swami asked him, did you get that vision? He said, no, Swami. And Swami says, he says, Swami, maybe I didn't do my sadhana well. Swami said, no, 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 your sadhana was fine. The time has come. And Swami gives him that darshan. There is this story of Bangalore Nagratnamal. I don't know if you know her. She was very great devotee of Saint Tyagaraja, uh, a legendary Carnatic singer, pre-independence era of India. She's done yeoman contribution to Carnatic music. In fact, she's the one who gave all her property and set up a samadhi for Tyagaraja, and the Tyagaraja Aradhana festival that we see every year uh, at the Tyagaraja Samadhi was instituted by her. Lot of uh, work when it comes to Tyagaraja in codifying the work of Saint Tyagaraja and keeping his memory alive. It was all because of her devotion. Tyagaraja was like her guru. And many years when she was 80, one day Tyagaraja comes in her dream and says, you have to have the darshan of my Rama. My Rama is here. Go and have my darshan. And that is how she lands up in Venkatagiri. Bhagwan in those days used to go to Venkatagiri very often. And she goes to the palace of Venkatagiri and she has a darshan of Bhagwan. And the moment she sees Swami, she starts singing the song that Tyagaraja sang when he got back the Rama idol, which was thrown into the river by his brother. That joy with which he welcomed Rama into his life, that same song she sang, and then one after another, she started singing all those beautiful songs that she always wanted to sing to Tyagaraja and to Sri Rama. And for 2.5 hours, Swami and Bangalore Nagaratnamal, they started singing. Swami would stop and ask her to sing, and she would ask Swami to sing some rare ragas, and it went on for 2.5 hours. And at the end of it, Swami asked her, what do you want? And she said, Swami, I have only two wishes. When I die, I should not suffer. And as I leave my body, your name should be on my lips. And Swami blesses her. And Swami says, 6 months from today, on this particular day, in this particular time, you will leave your body and my name will be on your lips. And that's exactly how it happened. If our sadhana is sincere, Sadguru himself will call us. Sadguru himself will bless us. We don't have to go looking for the Guru. And Swami, in fact, says in chapter 1 also, you don't have to wait for an Upadesha. Whatever instruction has to come, it will automatically come. That unquestioning faith and that unquestioning acceptance of God as the Guru is what is conveyed Bhagwan by Bhagwan in the first chapter of Sandeha Nivarini. There was this couple. This person was very devoted to Bhagwan and they had recently got married. And this person was so mad after Swami that they were living in Bangalore. He was a chartered accountant. Since he was a freelance chartered accountant, he had time. Whenever he had even a half a day, he would drive off to Parthi. So in a week, you would not be surprised to see him in Parthi 4 or 5 times because he was crazy after Swami. And the wife was not devoted to Bhagwan. The wife was very new to everything. And This disturbed her, and she always, there were arguments at home, but this person would not get into argument much. But no matter what the wife said, he would do whatever he wanted to do. Nothing would come in the way of his coming to Parthi. And the wife would get very frustrated. She would be really mad at him if one day he came back from office and little early. It is only because he was going off to Puttaparthi. It was not for any other reason. It was never for any family work. It was never to give her time. So obviously she was feeling very miserable. And as this was going on, this person would only silently pray to Swami. That's all. Because he didn't want to argue with someone who does not know Swami much. And many times people don't want Bhagavan to be a subject of conversation where there is no reverence. So, as this was going on, one day, Swami comes in the dream of the wife, and Swami says, "Why don't you pretend to be my devotee and come with your husband to Puttaparthi once? See, that way you will have more time with him. You have time with him during the drive. Only thing is the darshan hours. See, darshan hours is only 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. Those times you don't have to come to mandir. You be in the room, but rest of the time, at least he's there for you." And she thought, okay, maybe it's a good idea. And she came to Puttaparthi. And when she told her husband that I am coming to Puttaparthi with you, of course, the husband couldn't believe that it was happening. He said, really? He said, yes. So his joy, of course, knew no bounds. And very excitedly, of course, earlier, whenever he came, he could sleep anywhere, be anywhere, but now he had to make arrangements, proper arrangements. So he did all that, and wife is comfortable. And he asked his wife, so he asked his wife, "Do you want to go for darshan?" And he said, "No, I don't want to go for darshan." And then she said, "Okay, I'll go once, but with only one condition. I am not going to, you know, touch him. I'm not going to touch his feet and do all of that." I said, "Okay." And both of them go for darshan. And the wife is sitting in the lady's side. Swami comes. And it just happens that, when Bhagwan came, there was a gap, and she was actually sitting somewhere in the front. And interestingly, Swami comes and Swami stands right in front of her. But she is sitting there stoically. She doesn't want to bend. Because she has told herself, I'm not going to touch him. I'm not going to do, any pranam. I'm not going to do any of this to him. So she's controlling herself and, trying to live up to what she had told to her husband. But what happens is there was someone behind her, 2 rows behind her, who wanted to offer a letter to Bhagwan, and she was a tall lady, and she was desperate to offer a letter to Bhagwan. So she stretched out and offered, and as she bent forward to do that, she almost fell over her. And in this whole process, this lady had to bend, and she touched Swami's feet. It just happened. She didn't want to do. She couldn't help it. And the moment that happened, Swami just looked at her with a mischievous smile, and Swami said, I can do anything. Swami said, I can do anything. And he just smiled and happily glided away with the hem of his robe trailing behind him so gently, having waved that magic wand. Yes, the magic wand worked, of course. How will it not? And from that day, it was not just him now. Both of them were crazy for Swami, and both of them started coming for darshan. They could not wait. In fact, with time, it was the wife now all the time asking, why are you getting so held up with work? When are we going to Parthi? Why can't we go to Parthi today? And finally, one day when they got an interview with Swami, his wife asked Swami, Swami, how can I get closer to you? And Swami says, when you were newly married, you were getting, you used to get so angry with your husband for him going away from you for my darshan. In fact, you even thought at that time that you don't want to have a life with him. You even thought of getting a divorce. That was the situation you were in. And now, today, you are asking me, how can I get closer to you? Haven't I already brought you closer to me? You are asking me today, how can I get closer? Haven't I already brought you closer to me? If we foster and bolster just this one relationship, every other relationship in our life will become a beautiful, strong ship, helping us navigate through the storms, through the tempests of our life with ease, with grace, with joy, with no stress, no strife. In chapter 2 of Sandeha Nivarini, Swami says that there will be people, you know, who are like cheap metals. Cheap metals make a lot of sound. Gold does not make so much sound. So when there'll be a lot of people who will argue, there'll be a lot of people who will many times say many unholy things or things that will disturb you. But it is best for you to be quiet, follow the path of silence, and engage in namasmarana. Think of me. Don't give scope for any other discussion to enter. Things will just get sorted with time, provided your focus is complete. Chapter 1, he talks about faith. In chapter 2, he says how no matter what others say, your faith should not in any way get disturbed, get diluted, get affected with others' views, others' opinions. Go by your own experience. And once you've got your experience, stick to it and be firm. There was this old devotee who was a sincere spiritual aspirant. And one day Swami asked her, do you want to know how to come out of your domestic problems? How to deal with your domestic worries? I said, yes, Swami. Do you know how to transcend them? No, Swami. Please tell me. And then Swami says, see, when you are dreaming in the night, During the dream, don't you feel that that experience is real? When you're dreaming, that experience of you in the dream, getting that new job, having a great time in that new office, seeing that big fat check, and having a party with your colleagues, all that, whatever you see in the dream, does it not seem real when you are in the dream? Yes, Swami. When you wake up, what happens? When you wake up, then you realize, oh, that is not real, isn't it? Swami says, the one which experienced that dream, that was not the real you, isn't it? That was not the real you. Because if that was the real you, then you would have been in that world. The one which experienced the dream is not you. You experience that dream. Similarly, Swami says, now when you are awake and what you are experiencing now, when you are in deep sleep, even this is not there. So what you are experiencing now again dissolves into nothingness, because you are not this. Because when you come out of deep sleep, you know that I was in deep sleep. So what you are is not the one who identified himself with the dream in the dream state. You are not the one who is experiencing everything in the wakeful state also. The only difference, Swami said, is what you see in the dream, that is a night dream, and what you're seeing during the day, that is a daydream. This is also a dream. See, what happens in the night dream, it doesn't affect you, isn't it? Because you feel, no, I am not that. Even if I was punished, even if I had to go through a lot of pain, even if in the dream I saw that I lost my job and I am broke and I am on the streets. But when you awake, you feel, oh, wow, thank God I am not that. You're not that because you're not that. The same way, Swami says, what you're experiencing now in the wakeful state, this is also a dream. This is not you. Just like what you experience in the dream, that is not you. Even this, what you're experiencing in the wakeful state, this is also not you. If you can disassociate yourself with what you're experiencing, then this will also not bother you. Just like what happens in the dream doesn't bother you. When you come out of the dream, you're safe. Here also, that is night dream and this is a daydream. If you come out of this dream, again you will be safe. But the way to come out of this dream is to identify yourself not with the body, not with the mind, but with the Atma, because it is the Atma alone that is there in all the three states, and that is what is witnessing, be it the night dream or the living existence, what is actually a daydream. So Swami says that if you can disassociate yourself with whatever is happening, considering this as a daydream, then slowly you will realize that this will not affect you. Just keep telling yourself, this is all a dream. This is all a dream. Yeah, that was a night dream. It didn't affect me. Okay, today this person insulted me. Today this person spoke all of these things about me, which is not true. How can he do it? But if I say, no, it's okay. This is a dream. It's not permanent. This is not me. It's a dream. This is also a dream. I keep saying that this is also a dream. And Swami says, in spite of telling this, if you're still not getting that awareness, you pray to Swami. Swami, please give me that awareness. Give me that awareness to realize and live with the feeling that this is all a dream, so that all of this will not affect me. Just like pain in the dream does not affect me, pain in the waking state also will not affect me. But you have to pray and ask the Lord for such an awareness. Swami says, if you ask for the right things, I will always give you. If you ask for worldly things, that also I will give you. It's just that you will get more caught up in this web of illusion. But if you ask, Swami, give me this experience that all of this is a dream, so that all of this does not affect me, then nothing will touch you. If we identify ourselves as the Atma, then we will go above the body. And when we go above the body, all our problems also go beyond us. That is what Bhagwan is conveying in this chapter 3, where Swami is talking about Sat, Asat. Swami is talking about the whole existence being a Indrajalam, as being a Maya. Swami talks about the concept where whatever you see in the world today, everything that has a name and form, that is what is prapancha. Swami says, Swami uses this term sadasat. What we experience in the wakeful state, that is sat. And because it does not exist, it is asat. So these are all those technical terms that Swami is using to let us understand the profundity which is there in our Upanishads. But ultimately, all we have to do is to realize that we are not this. This is also just an appearance. Just like the dream is an appearance, this is also an appearance. I am not this. Just like I can be free out of a nightmare, I can be free out of this nightmare that I'm going through in the day also. All I have to do is I have to attach myself to not the body, not the mind, but to the Atma, but to that Swami within. Then all of this will not affect me. Just like when you put water on a lotus leaf, water does not stick, it just rolls down. That's what is called the lotus effect. All this will not touch us. It's not easy, but we can always try and we can always pray, because Swami is telling, I will help you. You ask for that awareness and I'm willing to give it to you. There was this boy who had very limited means. So every month he would get some money from his parents, and that month, you know, there was some unforeseen expenditures. He had to travel to Bangalore for something, and he had spent almost all the money. He had very little money left, and he didn't know how he was going to manage for the rest of the month. He had just 200 rupees left, and he didn't want to ask anyone. He didn't want to ask parents. And one day he took that ATM slip, and we saw his balance, and it said 200. And you know he said, Swami, see, Swami, this is all I have now. And in a moment of just uh, letting this tension go and leaving it to Swami, connecting to Swami rather, he just took a pen and he added one more zero, and he said, ah, It is now 2000 rupees. This is good. He just did it uh, thinking about Bhagwan and just letting it go. And that evening, when he's back in the hostel, he has this sudden urge to clean the cupboard. And when he's cleaning his cupboard, he removes all the clothes and then suddenly he finds an envelope. And when he sees there is money inside, and it is exactly 1800 rupees. 200 rupees he had, and this 1800 rupees made it 2000 rupees. What he had just playfully thinking about of Bhagwan written in that ATM slip. See, when there is a problem and there is consciousness, and we just tell the consciousness, we just remove the problem from our mind, just leaving it to Swami. Then there is no problem. There is only consciousness, and consciousness finds a solution to everything. But we can do that only when we have that feeling. You know, whatever happens, because it's Swami, see Swami, this happened, see Swami, that happened. We can always tell Swami and see Swami in that thing also. Yeah, when I saying see Swami, this is what has happened. We can also see Swami in that episode. If we constantly, the word Atma might be difficult for us to cognize, wrap our heads around, but we know Swami. So, can we constantly connect to that consciousness that is Swami within? Then slowly he will give us that experience that everything is a dream. One is a night dream, this is a daydream, and both of them will not affect us. In fact, this is what Bhagwan continues to explain in the chapter 3, in chapter 4, about the true wisdom of not getting deluded with the dark clouds of I and mine. When do we get affected with the problems of the world? When we identify ourselves with the body. Identifying ourselves with the body means identifying ourselves and having these notions of I and mine, not allowing ourselves to just become a channel of the divine. The moment we identify ourselves with the body, that is when problems start. And our whole journey should be to somehow see that we learn. Very difficult for us to not identify ourselves with the body. It is very difficult for us to not be attached to the world. But what we can do is to attach ourselves to Swami more. That way, slowly, our inner self will get detached from the world. We cannot detach from the world. It's very difficult. We are entangled in so many ways. But we can make our attachment to the Lord intense as days go by. And once that happens, then these bonds with the world will loosen. Our bonds and our identification with the body, with the mind, also will weaken. And that is when the problems of the world will not torment us. That is when consciousness will take over. In fact, many years ago, one day, Swami called Ratanlal Amma. Ratanlal Amma, as you know, she served Swami like Bhagwan's mother from 1972 onwards. And Swami went on, for some reason, reprimanding her. And Swami continued to find fault with so many things she had done, and Bhagwan was on sort of a rampage, so to speak. He kept on scolding her for so many things. And Ratanalamma started smiling. And Swami said, I'm scolding you, and you're smiling? And Ratanalamma said, Swami, in all these 40, 50 years of serving you, if I was able to do all of these things, because she was the one, she was involved in every major project of Bhagwan since the 1970s. We may not read about her, we may not know, be it the construction of the hospitals, be it the construction of the hostels, be it the construction of the Saradhana Stupa, name it, she was part of it. Because she was every day serving Bhagwan in the kitchen. And she was a very resourceful person and a very intelligent person. And she said, Swami, all these years, whatever I have done, do you think it was I who did? It was you who did all of this through me. I don't exist only. Impossible for me to do anything. Now you are scolding yourself only. Go on scolding. Do it as long as you want. I don't exist only. Can I do anything? You get joy in scolding, keep scolding. And Swami just smiled and went away. And she says from that day, Swami never scolded her again. But she was able to say it because of that conviction. She was able to, because for God, it all depends on what you're saying. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from here or is it coming from here? Because it was coming from here, Bhagwan also became, she disarmed Swami, so to speak. We speak about karma, bhakti, jnana, right? She has not studied scriptures, but to me, she's someone, she was actually reached that level of jnana. Even though her path was bhakti, her path was seva. That's why it is said, as you walk on any of these paths, karma, bhakti, or jnana, automatically you will grow in all the disciplines. And we don't have to go to the lives of saints and scriptures or Prahlada and Sakubai. We have those stories, but we can see that happen in so many devotees who have lived with Bhagwan, with even as they were doing service to Swami, if they were able to get that proximity or get that opportunity for decades together. There are people who have come and done for a few years and after that they have disappeared. But if people have been able to do it for years, it was because they also had their growth. It was because they grew in their inner self that they were able to get that opportunity continuously. That is the reason how grace was there ceaseless in their lives, to be able to continuously feel that this is not me, this is just Swami. In fact, one day, one Anandpur student, when Swami was speaking to them, her name is Radha, and Swami looked at her and Swami said, who is in your heart? And she said, Swami, you are in my heart. Swami said, yes, correct, I'm in your heart. And then Swami said, you and I are? She said, Swami, you and I are one. I said, no, no, no. You and I are we, and we ultimately becomes he. And she didn't understand that. And she kept praying and she kept trying to figure out what is it Swami is saying. So one day, when Bhagwan came out for darshan, and she was sitting next to the warden madam, Swami came. Swami was speaking to the warden, Jayalakshmi Gopinath madam. And this Radha, she looked at Swami and inwardly she just prayed to Swami. Swami was standing right in front. Swami, please explain to me, what is this I and you said are we? What is the meaning of this? And she says, the next moment, when she opened her eyes, she saw that the whole of Jen's side, there were no people. Everybody had converted to being just Swamis. Everybody was just Swami. She just seeing a sea of Swamis only there. And she turned her eyes to the lady's side. Again, she's seeing only Swami. Wherever she's seeing, she can see nothing but Swami. And tears started streaming down her cheeks. Swami looked at her and told, take Pad Namaskar. To be able to have that vision, because she prayed for that experience. Swami says, right? You pray to me for that awareness, I will give it to you. And once you get that awareness, it will change our lives. And we need to build on that realization and carry on our lives. I think once you have that kind of realization, everything will be a dream only, because you will see everything as Swami only. There is nothing different. As they say in bhakti, what is bhakti? Where there is no vibhakti. Vibhakti is two. There's no two only. That is what is Advaita, and that is what actually the essence of everything that is there also in Sandeha Nivarini. When talking about the other Radha, when after the Mahabharata war is over and Krishna now says, let me go and see Radha. And Krishna goes to Vrindavan, and with all excitement, Krishna appears before Radha and says, Radha, I have come. And Radha says, what? What is it, Krishna? What are you saying that you have come? When did you go that you have come? What do you mean you have come? And she takes Krishna's hand and she takes Krishna to the Yamuna and says, Krishna, in the waters of the Yamuna, is it not you? Krishna, in the sands of this river, is it not you? Krishna, in this blue sky, is it not you? In this green grass, is it not you? In this bamboo twigs, is it not you? In this beautiful flowers of Vrindavan, is it not you? What do you mean that you have come? It is you only know, everywhere. Krishna is stunned. Krishna says, Radha, ask me whatever you want. I am the king of this universe. I'll give you whatever you want. And Radha says, no, I don't want anything. And Krishna says, nothing, ask anything, please. And Radha says, no, I don't want anything. Krishna says, you're not even asking for my love, Radha. And Radha says, Krishna, I love you. And I know that you are mine. And I know that you will always be mine. And you are all the time in me. You are eternally with me. What is there for me to ask? And they say in the history of the avatar, Krishna, for the first time in his creation, bent down in front of this devotee and said, today I have received something which nobody gives me, and that is unconditional love. We hear God all the time loving us unconditionally. But here was once when the Lord received love unconditionally. If you see in first chapter, Swami is talking about this faith, unconditional faith. Chapter 7 also, Bhagwan comes back to that, where you have that unconditional faith. There are so many chapters in between where Bhagwan talks about that poem, Tai 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 Bomma, which basically talks about how everything in this world is temporary and the only relationship that we should forge is with the divine, because he is the only friend. Swami always used to say, if you want to know what is it that makes Lord the happiest, what is it when you say it brings a smile on the divine? If you want to know what is it the Lord loves to hear from you, then it is this: Swami, my Lord, you are my bestest friend. You are my bestie. You are my beloved. You are my sweetheart. You are my everything. You are my life. That is what he loves to hear. Swami said, that is the relationship that we need to cultivate. Once we cultivate that relationship, automatically we'll be connected to the Atma. Automatically the attachments of the body and the mind will fall away. And all these Swami is talking about that, how like a puppet we go through the different trials and tribulations of life, and none of this will affect us. And Swami so beautifully says there, for a single drop of tear, Sai will melt. He's so compassionate. Swami says, for a single drop of tear, Sai will melt. I was just reading an old issue of Sanatan Sarthi, and there is this devotee, N.S. Raghavan, where this devotee's wife had a serious bone issue called osteomalacia, where her bones were weakening and bones are becoming brittle. They were breaking in three ways. Every bone was losing its mass, and the doctors advised that she has to be bedridden and there's nothing much that can be done. And they had 5 children. This person was the breadwinner, didn't know how to manage the family, going through so many hardships. He had a government job, he had to go out, he cannot be at home. Imagine the trauma he was going through. And somebody told him, go to Puttaparthi. He went to Puttaparthi. Swami said, no need of doctors, no need of hospitals, no need of medicines. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Everything will be all right. Don't worry. You go. And he comes home and he thought the next day everything will be fine. But nothing happened. Wife was the same way bedridden. And days passed. He said he had come up with a lot of hopes, but somehow he had that faith that Swami said everything will be all right. And there was nothing else you could do. Also, doctors had given up. So both the husband and wife, every day they would pray to Swami and they would wait that maybe something will happen. And weeks passed, month passed, nothing happened. In fact, her condition even got worse. And 2 months passed and the situation was the same. But both of them, they just held on to that word of Swami. Swami has said, tuck, 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 and everything will be set right. 3 months pass, and one day when the husband gets up early in the morning because he has to go early on the duty, he sees that the kitchen lights are on, and he goes inside and he sees his wife making coffee. He's stunned and he says, "What is this?" And the wife says, "I don't know. Last night he came in my dream and he asked me to take Pad Namaskar. And I just got up. I don't know how I got up from the bed. I got up and I touched his feet. And as I was touched his feet, he just caressed my body. And as he did this, I could hear that tuck, 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 my bones setting right." And then Swami said, "See, tuck, 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 everything is set right now." And everything was fine from that day. Swami says, for a single drop of tear, Sai will melt. And I think all of us have experienced this. We have to only cry little sincerely. And when has he not responded? And if he has not responded also in the way we expect him to, he's done it because he's preparing something even better for us. If you go to chapter 7, as I mentioned, Swami's again referring to having that one pointed attention on Swami. And Swami also saying that those who aspire for happiness must be engaged in good deeds. This is something again very beautiful. Many times we want good things to happen in our life, we want happiness, but for that we should be engaged in good deeds. There is, and probably I will end with this. Swami says to a devotee once, see, when you go to a bank and you ask for a loan, what will the bank do? When will the bank give you loan? The bank will first ask you, where are you working? What is your salary? And how much is your capability to repay the loan? And if you have good amount and the bank feels confident that you'll be able to pay back, then the bank will sanction the loan. Suppose you don't have good money in your account, you don't have a great salary, then what will the bank ask? The bank will say, okay, do you have any properties? So if you have any decent properties, then again, that can be uh, the way the bank can loan you some money. And Swami said, no, there is a third way. Do you know what is the third way? The third way is if somebody comes as a guarantor for you and says, no problem, I stand by for him, give him whatever he wants. And if you are a respectable person looking at you, the bank will give the loan. Swami says, even when it comes to receiving grace from God, also it is like this. When God is looking to give you, shower you with grace, He's first seeing, have you done good deeds? What is your account balance? If it is there, then of course, grace comes spontaneously. If you have not done, but at least is there anything that your parents, your ancestors, or like that property we talked about, is there anyone who has done something for you? Is it there for you, done by others for you? On that basis, God can bless you. Or the final, somebody should stand as a guarantor. Now, who is that guarantor so that God can bless you? Swami says, you know what is it that will work for you? If there are other people praying for you, then that also becomes a reason for God to shower grace on you. God is seeing, oh, so many people are praying for him. Okay, fine. So I feel, to do good deed, we can do good deeds if we have resources. Yes, you can do good deeds in so many ways. But even if you don't have resources, or whether you have resources or not, this is such a beautiful way to do good. Just pray for others and build your own karma. You help yourself, you help others, and you earn grace, and you learn to only depend on Him. In the final chapter, Swami so beautifully says that just like the rays of the sun gets reflected onto the mirror, and the reflection of that mirror, thanks to that reflection of the mirror, or you see the light from the mirror falling onto the bungalow, and then the light from the bungalow falling on your eyes, and that is how you see uh, the bungalow. It is all the sun's rays reflected. Similar way, Swami says, whatever I am telling you, Swami is telling this devotee in Sandeha Nivarini, you are like the mirror, and from me it is going to you, and from you it is getting reflected to the Sanatana Sarathi, and from the Sanatana Sarathi, it is now going to all the devotees' hearts. That in this is how the light from Bhagwan is reaching out and dispelling darkness and filling us with wisdom as we walk on this path of Prema Vahini, because ultimately I feel our journey is only Prema Vahini. First Vahini that Swami wrote is Prema Vahini. Our journey is Prema Vahini only. But all these other things are just to remove all those impediments, the doubts and our questions and our little apprehensions. And that's why Swami, in fact, wrote Sandeha Nivarini and Premavahini simultaneously. Perhaps as he felt uh, he's urging people to love divine, he probably felt that people have so many doubts, and that's how he started writing this simultaneously. And it's beautiful for us also to read these Vahinis together or simultaneously. And as we read, let we contemplate, and more important, as Swami says in one of these chapters here, I feel very happy when the greatest joy that you can give me is when you live by whatever I have said, and you experience the joy of living the message that you are listening or that you are reading. Let us give Swami that joy. Let us tell Swami, Swami, we read the Vaini. Swami, this is one thing that I picked up. Swami, this is one thing that I'm practicing. And this is one thing that I have brought a change in my life. Let us give Swami that joy. Sai Pitara Mata Sai, because he is our everything. Deen Dayala Data Sai, Sai Pitara Mata Sai, Sai Guru Sai Sakha Sahodara. Sahodara is friend. He's our Guru. He's our friend. Sai Satya Shiva Sai Sundar. He's the truth. Veda Upanishad Gita Sa. Veda Upanishad Gita. Everything is his. He. Deen Dayala Data Sai, Sai Pitara Mata Sai. I know I have rushed through a lot of thoughts, and there's so many ways everything that Swami has written can be explained, and every chapter can be taken and elaborated upon for hours together. But whatever little I could gather, I have shared in. I hope I have not bored you, and I hope you found something useful. Thank you so much.
Saram, brother, I I cannot thank you enough for joining us on our journey for this Sai Anveshana. It's we've been doing this for a few months, and we started off with the Brahma Vahini, and you know, as you know, the readings Vahinis have been incredible, but they are challenging, and we have so many questions. And even when we have satsang with everybody else, and we have even more questions after that. But just by listening to you today, there is just every sentence that you spoke felt just incredible. It felt more tangible, felt easier to understand. And I know my mom's listening as well. And we were messaging each other and being like, "Oh my God, that was such a good analogy, and that was so well explained." And I feel like we could listen to this all day. I mean, most of us on the Sai Anveshana team, we've been listening to your podcasts that you did originally on all the Vahinis, and we were just amazed and almost a bit apprehensive of how we can convey such all of these messages, and to have them shortened down into an hour and a half is just, well, it's next to impossible. But you have done, it's been amazing today to hear them, and I don't want to take too much of this time because we have still so many questions to ask you.
Yes.
So we have a list of them which I'll pass on to Brother Shrabesh to go through a few of them with you. But if there is a little bit more time afterwards and you don't mind, we would love to be able to send them to
Yeah,
you.
I have no problem. Yeah, as long as it is not an issue for you, I have no problem.
No, we could, yeah, we could spend hours, but no, we'll spend just a few more minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Brother Shrabesh, are you able to?
Sis, I think I'll take over the Q&A.
Prashanthi?
I got disconnected. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again. I'm just going to echo what Sister Triveni just mentioned. It was really something that we expected for us to give an insight on the Sandeha Nivarini, because all of our team members, they have so many questions. So thank you so much for a beautiful session, brother. Thanks a lot. So let's start with the first one. So the first question that we have got is our duty to support other person at the expense of our own health and mental peace, is it okay or not?
Is it
Is it
okay?
our duty to support? Is it our duty to support other person in the expense of our own health and mental peace?
Okay. Oh, no, I don't think Swami will always want us to first help ourselves, before we go out and be able to do, and we will not be able to do justice also. Isn't it only when you are happy can you go out and spread happiness? Even when Bhagwan would want people to do seva, Swami would always say that it should never be at the cost of you uh, shirking your responsibilities at home, or you uh, sidelining your duties at home, or at the expense of your health or your job. No, definitely not. And that's the reason why Swami always wanted that, families together do seva, so that, everybody joins in, and it's kind of a mutual effort. But I don't think we should ever do anything if it is not adding to our happiness. And there's one more thing also, I think in chapter 7, if I'm not wrong, where Swami says that whatever sadhana you are doing, do it not in a sad or a depressed mindset. There is no point in doing bhajans if we are feeling so depressed, and if you are feeling so low, and if you are feeling, oh, what's nonsense, why am I doing this, no matter what I do, it's nothing is going to change. If we are doing anything with that mindset, it's not going to help, because you know there are all kinds of energies around us, and they say if you are upbeat, then any negative energy will not be able to touch you. But even if you are doing a bhajan, but if you are not upbeat, if you are not allowing that to express itself in the form of happiness, joy, if it doesn't lift your spirits, it is not serving. if that seva is not adding to your joy, if that bhajan is not adding to your joy, I feel you should not do it, because it doesn't serve the purpose. And don't do an activity if you cannot do it joyfully, because again it's of no use, because it will not give you those benefits. We can fortify ourselves with the sadhana only when we do it with a state of mind that is not low, that is not negative, that is not dispiriting. It's very important. That's why, when we are doing bhajans, yeah, we have troubles, but for that half an hour, 45 minutes, we can forget everything. Just do it joyfully at that time, at least. You have problems, yes, but when we are doing that seva, let us do it joyfully. Then we will get at least the benefit of that. Otherwise, we are missing out here also, we are missing out there also. You lose your home, or you leave your home, things at home, and you go and do there, and there you are cursing yourself. That also doesn't help. And as well, you could have sat at home and done things at home. So I think it's very important that whatever we do, let us not do anything that is harming us. It will not help anyone.
Mm. Doing everything with love. Thank you for a beautiful explanation, Priya. So the second question is that how can we keep single-minded devotion?
So I think there's so many ways to be able to constantly, I think, if not anything, just keep talking to Swami. I think we are not in that state where, our mind is all the time on Swami. Yes, our mind gets distracted, and in today's times, uh, never before in the history of mankind, man had this challenge of the kind of distractions that we have today. So if we constantly are talking to Swami, I think that would be one way to feel him all the time. Yeah? No matter what you're doing. And one thing also we should realize, we should never feel guilty or something also with Swami. See, Swami is like a friend. It's not as if, Swami is a killjoy, that he doesn't want you to do this or doesn't want you to do that. It's not that. See, if it's all the question of what kind of connect you develop with him. So if you develop that kind of friendship with him, yeah, even if you're going for a movie, you take Swami along with you. Do everything with Swami with you. You can have your fun. You can make mistakes. But if you make a mistake, feel free to go and tell him.
Mm.
Yeah, none of us are perfect. We all stumble. We all do things probably which we shouldn't have done at times. But we all can. But we can go to him and tell, what, buddy, this is what happened. You got to be with me. You got to you hold my hand. You got to see me through this. Because I need you. Yeah, I did this, but that's fine. And because I did this, I need you more. But he feels happy that, at least you have come to him, just like a mother. If you do a mistake, the mother feels happy, you go and tell, so that uh, one, she feels happy that you have not hid anything. Second, she will go overboard to see how to ensure that, whatever damage control can be done, will be done. Right. So, and and inwardly, she'll be more protective for you than ever before. Right. And the connect also actually becomes deeper. Right. So the same way, so we can always go and constantly make him a part of our lives. It should be that no matter what we are doing, he's with us. And there is nothing good, bad, ugly. Everything is divine in this world. We can always keep him with us no matter what we are doing. And I think maybe that is the way slowly we develop that kind of connect with him. We are not going into deep philosophies, but probably this is something, as Swami says, no matter what you're doing, you're sweeping the house, think that, you're removing the dirt, you're rolling the chapatis, you're thinking you're broadening your heart. Swami used to give all these examples. So no matter what we are doing, constantly, it will, Swami, you're there with me, And I know of so many experience of devotees, who always feel Swami is there with them. And, whenever they are flying, they will see that the seat next to them is free. It has happened. I know of so many devotees, they have this experience. They keep telling Swami, you got to be with me, you got to be with me. And invariably it'll happen that the seat next to them is free. It's like Swami is traveling with them. It's everybody's experience. And I think once you are open with him, once you make him your friend, you will also begin to experience the sweetness and the power of having God as your friend.
That's so sweet and lovely explained. Thank you so much for that. The next third question is that how can we surrender to Swami in practice? Do we need to do our best efforts before we can surrender?
Of course, I think Swami also says again in one of these chapters that, you need both self effort. To change your destiny, self effort is very essential. So, self effort and divine grace is what will rewrite our destiny. So, there is no question of slackening in our self effort. And you do everything that you can. And after that, it is left to Him. Whatever happens, we should be willing to accept it sportively and be willing to say, okay, Swami, this is what you wanted for me. Okay, fine. I will take this and move on. I know there'll be something even better that you must have planned. I am not complaining. You just be with me. It is fine. Together we will sort everything out, right? So yes, so we leave everything in God's hand, and we will see God's hand in everything, right? So surrender is constantly telling Swami, I am not the doer. Constantly we see, when we have Swami with us constantly, then we are constantly telling Swami, I am not the doer. You work through me, you work through me, you work through me. So that's how we will slowly begin to empty our little self and fill ourselves with the bigger self that is He. And I think those are the little ways that we can do. Main thing, that's what whole Sandhya Nivarani, all 8 chapters, if you look at the essence, forget that I and mine. So we have to constantly say, I am nothing, I am nothing. I am a flute. I want to become a flute, Swami. I want to become hollow. I am hollow only. You lift me up, and you let your breath fill me, right? Then only beautiful music will erupt. But that flute also, to become a flute, has to undergo the surgery of 7 holes. So when the holes are happening, okay, Swami, no problem. You are only doing the surgery. I'm in your hands, no problem. It is okay. I will go through it happily because you have not put me down. That's okay. You do the surgery, no problem. But at the end of it, you will keep me on your lips. So no problem.
That's so lovely. Um, Accepting all what he gives in our life as a prasadam of his is what is also one of the best practices, isn't it, Radha?
Absolutely.
Okay. So the next question is that we keep saying that following Swami's teaching is very difficult. We are human being, etc. How can we change that? What we should do so we are able to follow his teachings without difficulty?
First of all, we should remove this thought that it is difficult. It's not difficult. We do imagine, whatever in life. For example, you want to pass an exam, you put in some effort, right? Nothing comes free. Imagine for little things of the world, to clear a test, to get a driving license or whatever, we put so much of effort for little worldly things. Here you are going to get the grace of the divine, which can help you with things that you can't even imagine. And this is going to be there with you all the time. It's like uh, insurance is a too small a word. It's an assurance. Okay. And no matter where you are, it is going to be with you. It is going to envelope you. It is going to protect you. It is going to carry you. So, of course, it will need some effort. When for things of the world we put effort, should we not put little effort? And he's saying that you take one step and I'll take 99 steps. That is how merciful he is. But
Mm.
and the simpler ways of doing it, is okay. mm, Nobody is telling that you be desireless. You cut down one desire. We have so many things, little things we can always do. If we were earlier, losing our temper very often, we can say, okay, next time I will ensure that I pause before I my cool again. I can see to it that, okay, this time I'm not going to feel jealous for about this person, you know. So those little, we can reduce our greed a little, we can reduce our desires a little, we can reduce our envy a little. I think we can take those little steps and go out and serve a little. That is how, help a little. Let the heart become truly a heart. A heart, as Swami says, hridaya, right? What is hridaya? Hridaya is that which is filled with compassion. Only then it is called hridaya. It is not called the heart because it is pumping blood and supplying to all the organs. Then it's just a mechanical machine. It is hridaya only when it is filled with daya. We can express little compassion. We can cut down maybe something that we are doing and make someone else smile. If we are down, the best way to lift ourselves is to lift someone else. We can do little things. And I think slowly we will uh, build that moral stamina. Slowly we will build that willpower. And as we take these little steps, His grace also will then come. And we can march with much more speed and joy.
Thank you so much for a lovely explanation. There's one more question. Just gonna give out the gist of it because it's not that clear. So Baba knows exactly what we want and when we want it. So why should we ask Baba for things? Um, so how can it not give it on own will based on our karmas?
Yeah.
So
So, yes. So you don't have to ask Swami anything. That is true. Just go on with your life, whatever you're doing as per your duties and as per your responsibilities. But if you have to ask someone, then ask him. Don't ask anyone else. Swami says, if you ask someone else, then you become a beggar. Why become a beggar? You ask God, you'll become bigger, Swami says. We are not beggars. We don't ask anyone. If I need something, I will ask Swami. If I want good grades, yeah, okay, I will ask Swami. If I want this relationship to work, I will ask Swami. Whatever I want in life, I will ask Swami. I'm not going to ask anyone else. If he wants, he will make it happen. If it doesn't happen, fine. Then it is good for me. That also I'll accept. So I, at one level, yeah, I don't have to ask anything because I don't know what is good for me. That's why it is best not to ask. We keep only saying that, Swami, you be with me, you ensure that I am getting close to you. You ensure that whatever I do is taking me closer to you, and no matter what it is. Because I don't know whether this job is good for me, whether this relationship is good for me, whether this new house is good for me. I don't know. But if you want to leave it to Swami, perfect. You can always leave it to Swami. But if you feel like asking, don't ask anyone else. Ask him.
Thank you so much. And there was one question, one of our participants, they want to know about one of the bestest experiences your brother had with Swami.
Should ask my brother. I don't know brother's experience. Probably you're referring to the Ganesha experience. Maybe a lot of people know about it and they keep talking about it. Even I don't know much, he doesn't talk about all of that so much, but he did share how, during the hostel, basically he developed that connect with Ganesha, right? So there is a Ganesha in front of the hostel, and every day he used to come out of the hostel and go to the institute. He would speak to the Ganesha, and he would have those beautiful conversations with him. And so one day he was so surprised when Ganesha actually walked out of his little home there, and he walked with him uh, all the way to the college. And he was so surprised because vehicles were coming, and Ganesha said, don't worry, nothing will happen to me. You take care of yourself, don't worry about me. And they were talking about everything of the world. And then when he reaches the college, and Ganesha goes back to the Ganesha temple in the institute, so he's had those beautiful moments. So yeah, it's all depends on our connect. Whatever be our connect, uh, God will come to us in that form, in that way, because all He wants is that we connect, and that connect should become deeper. That's all.
That's so lovely. We just got one more question. So it's about when we write a letter to Swami, does Swami know our problems and will he answer?
Of course, I think there is no two thoughts about it. When you're writing a letter to Swami, it is only just your exercise of expressing, right? Every letter, every letter that comes to your mind as you write the letter is given by him, right? I told you that first story also. Swami said, you are feeling bad for that person because he's coming with a letter. I know him even before he thought about writing the letter, and years and ages before that. So obviously, every time, he doesn't. We don't have to write a letter to communicate to him about us, but we are writing that letter just as a sadhana, just like we are talking to Swami. Here we're just writing. Sometimes writing is a very beautiful way of expressing ourselves, right? We all write our diaries. It is very therapeutic, and it's also a way of prayer, right? When you write, you have to clearly think. You put down. Is something comes down in concrete, right? So that is also a spiritual sadhana. So writing letter every day, every day, before you sleep, sit down and write a letter to Swami. Tell him everything that has happened during the day. That's a very beautiful way of just forging and bolstering that connect you have. You can tell Swami, this is what we did in the morning today. You didn't help me with this, and this time you were naughty. I had to go through all of this. Why didn't you help me? And now this was good, Swami. Next time you do better. Whatever you want, write whatever you want. Yes, but it's important that writing is just a sadhana for us.
Thank you so much. We believe we've covered almost all the questions, but if we receive any more questions, is it okay for
Yeah,
us to share it with you?
feel free, please, anytime.
Thank you so much. Because we have just started reading the Sandeha Nivarini book, and this 2 hours, 1.5 hours, is going to help all of our participants understand Sandeha Nivarini better and also to dwell deeper because they're going to have continuous study circles for the next 2 months and also quiz sessions coming up. So they're going to get benefited through this, and it is indeed a blessing, and it is also Swami's will for this session to happen and to have you as our speaker, as our Sai Insight speaker. Thank you so much for spending your time, precious time. And we know it's 10:30 there, and Thanks a lot for being up and doing this session for us. Thank you so much, Saram. And for our dearest participants, thank you for joining us and your energy that you have been sharing throughout this journey for successfully completing Prema Vahini and sending the Quest 1 responses. And we are so happy to see those responses, the way that you have drafted based on your learnings from Prema Vahini. And that's just one book that we have completed, Quest 1. There are 5 more quests go. So those who have not submitted Quest 1, we have extended the date. So please submit it before the 15th of February. And also, we have given all the study circle materials, but unlike the last time, this time we've got one PDF. And in that one PDF, we have segregated every week with chapters and the questions and study circle content as like what questions to ask and how we're going to reflect. Everything is there. Please go through that as a team. And based on those chapters which are allocated for every other week, we'll be having the weekly quiz sessions, which will probably take place tomorrow for the first week. So the same way, we'll leave 2 days to send in your responses. And the quest 2, which is the most awaited one, so the divine quiz, we're going to have it as an online session. But this one will cover both the Prema Vahini and Sandeha Nivarini together. So make sure while you're reading, you also observe the content of it. And because these quizzes are not just going to be based on the book, as in like not the content, but something that we can practically think and answer. Also, it will be on the 29th of March. We expect all of our participants, there are 111 of us, all teams together and more. So we expect all of our participants to be there for this 2-hour session. So it'll happen in breakout sessions uh, using Zoom. So please prepare as a team. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Yeah. Otherwise, if there's anything, please post it now in the chat box. If not, we'll end the session. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you so much, Swami, for your love, your guidance, and for your omnipresence, and giving us the ability to feel your presence every moment, Swami. Swami, the only request is instruments and your favorite children to make you feel proud for giving us birth in this planet Earth as your children, Swami. Thank you so much for everything. Jai Saram. Let's end the session with Samastaloka and three Shantis. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Sai Ram. Thank you so much.